Charlie Kirk's assassination is making the news worldwide. And people are attending vigils, memorials, and also stating protests, going online and stating their disappreciation, the lack of appreciation for what he did. And people are taking sides for him, against him, and for what he stood for and what he didn't stand for, and what the world should do in response to his assassination. That is my dog snoring. So hopefully that doesn't bother you. Today, I thought I would give sort of a matriarch's point of view to this all. Because when I watch this unfold and I watch people argue and debate and even turn to violence themselves, whether it is verbal violence in, using his name in violent speech, or whether it is sending death threats to those who are supporting him, to the opposite side, where people are asking him to become an idol of worship, and how he is a saint and he's a savior and he's, the Jesus sent him. And these two opposing visions, these two opposing sides are patriarchal's playthings. They are two strings from the patriarchal playbook. That is the whole point of religion. That is the whole point of the state, the government. That is the whole point of politics. That is the whole point of every institution that was built under the patriarchy, and that was to create two sides, whether it is liberals, conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, atheist, religious, black, white, gay, straight, men, women, you name it. And these people have now picked another side. So to me, the sad fact that he passed, because I am not in support of his assassination. I feel for his wife and his two kids who can see this live on TV. I mean, for goodness sake. These two sides, they're playing the game, and so the patriarchy has won again. Because now there will be a rise of the religious right in response to this murder. And the radical left, I will call them, will rise again in their response to the religious right. And the two extremes will just battle it out. And a war will ensue, and more violence will come. And then that will turn into politics, and then that will turn into laws and ways to rule over society. And while people are picking sides and pitching forks, I think they've lost the plot entirely. And that is, we've gone into dissociation, we've gone into deviation, and we've gone into ideology as opposed to humanity, as opposed to truth, as opposed to compassion, acceptance, justice, and what's truly right or wrong. Each side will speak to what they think is right or wrong, and therefore acts following it should follow what they believe is right or wrong. But it's all in the mind. If you watch the energy of the people debating, you can feel it, you can see it. If you can ground yourself first, and then you watch the people speak, whether they are pro-Charlie, anti-Charlie, it's all head up, it's all up here. All the energy has left their body, and it's all mental masturbation. And to me, that is dissociation from the ground, from earth, from the truth and reality of what we live in. And you can't access your emotions besides reactive emotions of rage and fear. You can't access the deeper emotions of, love and compassion and grief and shame and acceptance and all the stuff that sits in the gut that makes us human. And when we lose that connection, we fall prey to the patriarchy, because the patriarchy was built up here. The patriarchy was literally a mental masturbation against the natural order of living. They made a male sky god that created life to oppose the reality of Earth, Mother Nature, Earth, female, woman's, through their body, through their vagina, birthing and dropping life down through the earth through gravity. Um, that patriarchy created that. Whether it is Christianity, Judaism, Islam, whatever it is that you're practicing, they all deviate from the norm. And the idea was to take the soul, take the worship out of the body and into imagination. And with imagination comes ideology, and with ideology comes whatever you think is fit, whatever you think is right, whatever you think is wrong, because it's not based on anything substantial. It's not based on any truth. So whether you believe in sky God above and Charlie's preaching Jesus and he's, like the second coming, he's the new idol, he's the new saint, you've lost the connection to him being a human who got brutally murdered on camera, and now his wife and his kids have to mourn, and you've lost the connection to your feet on the earth and you being of the same race and of the same humanity he is, and he is not meant to be worshipped, he is meant to be mourned. On the flip side, if you hate him and you think of him as, evil incarnate and him spreading, hate and lies and fascist beliefs, you've again completely disconnected the human to human connection, again, of him being mourned, of him being brutally murdered, and of his right to free speech, however he saw fit, as long as it didn't incite violence. And it didn't. He had rallies all around the world, and there was a lot of debate, and there was a lot of angry people, but there was no violence until it turned against him. And you lose the connection to earth as well. So both are battles of the ego. And as a matriarch who is just trying her best to stay rooted as possible, being a trauma survivor, being an abuse survivor, and leaving the patriarchy and seeing it for the division and the hierarchy and the control that it is, I'm saddened because I watch these two sides play, and I'm watching people looking for hope, looking for something to feel ease and comfort in this wrecked times that we live in this franticness. And they're going to turn to more false ideologies, because whether you are left, right, religious, not, liberal, conservative, you're still playing the game of picking a side. And if you pick a side, then it still controls you. Then you've still lost half the plot. It's like picking whether you're going to live solely from your left brain or your right brain. Like, we're not meant to live like that, We're not meant to live solely through our head and not through our body. Solely through thought and not through emotions. Solely through reaction and not through response. And we're gonna see even more division, and we're gonna see problems with the religious right coming up, and because there's a lot of misogyny through the religious right, and that really scares me as a woman. And we're also gonna see the reaction of the radical left because of it. And I'm going to be honest, the radical left have lost all cognitive ability. Their reaction is, you disagree with me and you're going to pay for it. And I'm scared of that as well, because I do disagree with them. And they are bringing violence, I mean, to the stage. And so, and history has shown that the religious right can do that as well. So what's going to happen in our world today as people look for truth, look for comfort, look for support, look for a place to belong, and the patriarchy keeps playing these two sides? Well, they're going to pick a side, and they're both going to dissociate from reality. So I guess this video is a response of me saying, hey, there's another option. How about you come to the side of Mother Nature, since we are meant to live by her laws? How about you come to the side of humanity? How about you come to the side where body, mind, spirit lives together? How about you come to the side where both community and individualism can live side by side? How about you come back to your body, back to the mud beneath your feet, back to the wind that blows through your hair, and back to your internal instincts and intuition of morality, instead of what the two sides say what is moral. The body never lies. Mother Nature never lies. She may be, you may not like it sometimes, and it can be painful sometimes, but the truth is there. It just is. There is no sense of debate or argument. And yet there's still room for interpretation. And that is what is so beautiful about it. So I ask society, I ask for anybody who is interested, who's feeling lost, who's feeling torn, who's feeling maybe like they're looking for a place to discuss this without getting into the religious, getting into extreme right or left, into patriarchal viewpoints, whatever they may be, and a place where we can just sort of talk about it. And we can talk about it from the sense of, what we liked about Charlie, what we didn't like about Charlie, what his viewpoints could be helpful for society, what we think maybe not be helpful for society. How can we bridge the gap? How can we remain human as we go through this? What kind of world can we build in this gap, in this void that is being created within the battle? What can we do to bring a sense of justice and peace and respect? And I'm not saying that anger isn't valid, because it is a valid emotion, and so is fear, and so is hate to an extent. I mean, you are allowed to hate somebody, but hate that is dissociated from, hey, there's actual, life here that we're dealing with. I mean, that's how you dissociate yourself from life itself. That is how, the big corporations, the big governments are able to create genocide and go through humans over politics. It is how we are able to, create cattle farms and chicken farms and pig farms and, murder animals for our food, instead of doing it through Mother Nature's way, which is to humanely kill for sustenance, and we only take what we need. So when we divorce ourselves from nature, then we fall prey to any idea, any belief system, any value, that it is not based on anything. So can we as people, can we as women keepers of the earth, can we create a third pathway? Can we bring back Mother Nature into the fold as an option for people to rest their heads? And how can we do that? And I think this time of his assassination, I think there is some sort of divine timing. And I don't mean to say that he meant to die, but there is so much spiritual unrest, and there's so much human unrest in the world today. And I'm wondering if the timing of it all will get people to wake up, and not, sit comfortably in this mess, and start to search and start to wonder and start to look for solace and serenity and belonging, in a world that wants to take it away from them. So as matriarchs, as a keeper of Mother Nature, as a holder of Mother Nature and Goddess and the divine feminine, if you want to call it, in a world of man-made debate, how can we bring the female? How can we bring the nature of our lives, of ourselves, into this fold and help create a new world? How can we return to matriarchy? How can we, I don't really like that word, infiltrate, but how can we create new pathways and give people options? So those are my two thoughts. I would love to hear what you have to think. Yeah, in the wake of all of this, what do you think of the battle, and of this video? Please post below.